Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Mr. Kadim Khan and I am a lecturer in the Institute of Computing, Kohat University of Science and Technology. Today we will take lecture number 24 of the subject of Object-Oriented Analysis and Design, in which we are going to discuss the visual paradigm, which is a modeling tool of the UML. Dear students, visual paradigm is a tool used to model the software system. Here we will use different UML objects that will model the software system. This is the discussion agenda. It contains the topics of the background about different modeling tools, that is the history of the different UML tools. Then we have the installation help for the visual paradigm. Here we will see how we can download and how we will install the visual paradigms, and at the end we have the frequently asked questions. Now this is the history of the software systems. First, in 1970s, there were in fact little bit software system, but no UML concepts. So here, the people deposit money or withdraw money from their account or transfer the money. So here, no modeling was involved. So when the time progressed, so then in 1980s, more sophisticated system came into being. Then the users used the money to draw the money or to deposit the money, but using different accounts. While in the before 1980s, they were using certain systems or certain other lockers, etc., to keep their money safe. While in 1980s, the money were kept in the different bank accounts. So that's why user was involved in withdrawing the money or depositing the money using different accounts. But now in 1990s, more sophisticated softwares were modeled using the UML, and that is now still continue. So nowadays, different sort of systems, for example, different configuration system, security system, uploading, downloading, for example, and Internet of Things systems, different sort of the banking systems and another accounting systems. These all systems are modeled using UML. So UML is used to define the architecture of the system. Now we have different modeling tools. For example, rational rows is one of the tools used to model the software system. Then the enterprise architects tools. The enterprise architect tools is also a very good tool for modeling. Microsoft Visio, which is a framework of the Microsoft, and it comes in the Microsoft Office suite. This is also used for the modeling UML. But this tool, that is the Visio, it doesn't communicate with any sort of the language. That means that this tool does not convert our model into the particular programming language or vice versa. Lucid chart is also one of the tools. Similarly, Agilian and Logician and other UML tools are also used for the modeling language. Now, visual paradigm is a very good tool. We will use visual paradigm in our few lectures and use to model the UML. Now, how we can install the visual paradigm? To install the visual paradigm, you first need to download the visual paradigm. For this purpose, you need to open this link and then you download the visual paradigm. After downloading and installing, you need to evaluate the visual paradigm. For this purpose, you can use 30 days evaluation period, that we will use it here, which is free for 30 days. Or you can subscribe for the license. Here you need to click the login buttons and create the account for subscription of the license. Also, you can use perpetual license, the license with no expiration date. That means there is no particular expiration date there. So that's why this is the perpetual license. The last one is the academic license, and this license is used for the universities and for the professors. And also we have this link, which is in fact a link for different samples of the visual paradigms projects. You can study these samples or you can download these samples, and you can also modify these samples for your own purpose. Now dear students, we will install our visual paradigm. So first I already downloaded the visual paradigm, so just click here and the extraction of the visual paradigm will start here. This is the wizards which will guide you through the rest of the setup of the process. So you can see that now the wizard is starting and extraction is now in the way. Now you will click yes to install the visual paradigm and click next. You need to accept the agreement, so just click on the I accept this agreement. Better is to read this agreement. So this agreement means that you will use this software for the projects. Next, click next. Now visual paradigm required 2359 MB data. That is the size of the visual paradigm. But in my directory, which is the C drive, it is 478 MB. So that's why if you have less MBs in your C directory, type another directory. For example, E directory I will type here. Click on next and click on next and install the visual paradigms from here. You can see that the installation of the visual paradigm is now continue, and meanwhile this will be installed. This is the visual paradigm 12.2 version on this computer. You can download another version as well, but as we are using the trial version, so that's why this version is also good for us for working UML. Now almost installation is complete. Now from here we can start the visual paradigm. So the completion of the visual paradigm setup wizard. Now click the finish buttons to start the visual paradigm. Here I'm clicking the finish. Now in the meanwhile visual paradigms will start from here. So first you need to evaluate your license. Now 30 days left, so just click on this license. I need professional, so I will click on it and click on the start. So now the visual paradigm is running here, and the meanwhile you will see the interface of the front interface of the visual paradigm. So this is the design and management tool for the business, IT and system development. And here you can see that initializing environment, and its version is 12.2, and this is the 2015 version. Now our installation complete, and you can see this is the front end of the visual paradigm. In this section of the visual paradigm, you can see we can create different sort of the UML modeling tools. So you can click here. For example, if I click on the UML model, I will select particular model here, and then I will work for this model. So for example, class diagram, object diagram, composite structure diagram, sequence diagram, communication activity diagram, all we have discussed this diagram in our previous lectures. So here we will practically develop these diagrams in the visual paradigm. Similarly, if you want to create the business modeling, click on the business modeling, and you can select different business modeling tools from here. Or from system models. System model means hardware, software, both models. You can also create the requirements model. Requirements of the users can be created through these tools. Similarly, SOA-ML is the architecture model of the systems, and also you can create the database modeling of the UML through clicking this, and this is the analysis models. And if you want to create the other models, For example, if these models are in the other section, overview model, mapping model, and grid diagram, documentation, and brainstorm process, you can create all these, but mostly we will create the UML modeling here. So this is the UML modeling tool, so you can create that modeling tool from here. Now we will resume our slides. We have successfully installed the UML visual paradigm. Now these are the frequently asked questions. What is the difference between extends and versus include relation? This is the extend relations. Extend relations means inheritance. For example, bank ATM transaction is using the help. So that is the, in fact, a particular relations that the help is extended from the bank ATM transactions. So every time when this system changes, help also will get changed. So that's why this is extend relation. This is the include relations. For example, this is the bank transactions use case, and this is bank account transaction use case, bank counter transaction use case. This is customer authentications. So this is include relationship. Include relations mean that all this item is included in these two. Means that bank ATM transaction and bank counter transaction will include into customer authentications. Now extends means that extending use case is supplementary, that is the optional. So extend use case is independent and meaningful on its own. So for example, inheritance is the extend relations in which the child extends the parent. In fact, that all the components and the data member function are inherited from the parents towards the child. And include relation, it simplifies large use case by splitting it into several use cases, and it is in fact extracts common parts of the behavior of the two or more use cases. So here you can see that this is the common part of these two use cases. So that is the extend include relations. Now we have different relations in the UML. For example, composition versus aggregation. Like you can see, this is the compositions, and that means that car contains the engine. That means that car is composed of the engine. So engine is one of the part of the car. So it is the containment relations, and engine is the part of the car, means that if car is destroyed, so engine is also destroyed. So that means that it is strong relations, strongly dependent. This one is the aggregation relation, and for example, catalogs its containment relations. That the person address, that person has the address, it is in a has a relationships. Similarly, like we see that car has a wheel, and addressing it is independent. For example, if the address is destroyed, the person still remains. So it is in fact not depending, it is independent. Now also we have other relation, that is dependency. For the dependency you will use these symbols, and this is the generalization. For generalization we use these symbols. Similarly, here you can see that visual paradigm user and student and teacher assistant. So they all both these two uses the visual paradigm. Similarly, stereotypes relations, we have boundary, control, and entity. So this symbol shows the entity, this shows the controls. For example, for loop, while loop, do while loop are the controls, and this shows the boundary. Boundary means that this use case is in fact attached or linked with this particular another subsystem. So this is the boundary here. Class diagrams. To create the class diagram, we right click on the class diagram, then we take the stereotypes and we choose the boundaries and controls and the entities. Entities means here different attributes and member function of that particular class. Now dear students, you have seen different sort of the UML tools. Here and then we have installed our visual paradigms. So you can use these links to study the visual paradigms, and if you have also any question, you can drop an email to my ID. My ID is m.kadim@kust.edu.pk. I will wait for your question and respond to your question immediately. Now we will work in the visual paradigm. So for this purpose, just click on the escape button of the slides. You will escape from here, and then I already opened the visual paradigm, so that's why I will close the visual paradigm. So I have closed the visual paradigm from here, and now to run the visual paradigm, you need to search the visual paradigm into your system here. So just click on the visual paradigm. Immediately it will be launched here. So you need to in fact wait for it. Now here first of all, it is initializing the objects. Now visual paradigm has been launched. So what you need to create, so for this purpose, just click on that new. Here you can see that I want to create the UML, so create the blank projects, and now you will see that I will take the class diagram. Now the class diagram has been created. From here I will drag drop different components of the class diagram. For example, this is the class, this is generalization, this is association, this is the diamond symbol, that is an array association, this is the association of the class, and so on. All these symbols are already here. So just drag drop one objects from here into this surface. I drag drop it here, and you can see that it says that this is the class. You can resize your class from here. Just click, double click, or just right click, and you will see that there, click on specs or click on the add. Now there are some interesting operation of the visual paradigm. For example, this is just by default a class. If you want to change that name, just click on the specs. After clicking on the specs, you can type the name here. For example, if I want to type the student name here, then click on the apply and click OK. You can see that the name of this class has been changed. Also, if you want to add certain attributes of this class, you click on the attribute section. You will type attribute here. For example, I will say registration number is one of the attribute here. Registration number. Just click on enter and click another, or enter another. Second one is name, and third one is, for example, marks. And click outside if you want to complete that. Just click outside. You can see that the cursor disappeared from here. Now if you want to add the attribute, that is the functions or operations, click on the operation. Now you can see operations are added. For example, take exam is one of the operation. Then click on press enter. Then see result is another operation. Now if you want to click outside, then it means that there are two different functions in this class. Now dear students, this is the end of the 20 minutes. So we will continue this work in our next lectures. So stay tuned, and if you have any question, you can drop an email to me. This is very easy tool, and it is very much interesting, and hope that you will learn a lot using visual paradigm. Thank you very much.